Hey Kickstarter, this is me, Jordy Williams, and I'm writing a graphic novel. It's going to be really big, it's going to be really pretty, and it's going to take a lot of effort to get it made. The book is called Jökulhlaup, and I've been working on it for the last 4 years. It's a story about a girl who wakes up in the future and there's no people left. I want to tell you about it, and hopefully you'll think it's as cool as I do, and hopefully you'll help me get it made. First, a little bit about me. I'm an artist, and I always have been. I started painting and drawing when I was really little, and have been filling up sketchbooks and test margins ever since. I've always been into drawing, cartoons, comic books, and most of all, graphic novels. I've always wanted to write one, but I never had a story. This one came to me after a long lunch conversation about automation and artificial intelligence and what the world would look like in the next 20, 30, or 100 years. I wanted to write a story about the aftermath of all that. I've also been spending the last 3 years as a whale watching guide in Juneau, Alaska during the springs and summers. I took cruise ship guests out into the ocean and I introduced them to humpback whales and orcas and other amazing wildlife. I also led hikes and showed them to the rainforest. I showed them the mountains and I showed them the animals of the land. But cooler than anything to me were the glaciers of Alaska. If given a day off, I would invariably hike out to the glacier. I got to show guests the legendary Mendenhall ice caves. And these massive ice rivers became the most fascinating thing about Alaska to me, and they've become a big part of my book. So, the title. The book I'm writing is called Jökulhlaup. The word Jökulhlaup means glacial flood in Icelandic. As glaciers melt, some of them can build up large subglacial lakes. This dam can store humongous amounts of water, releasing it suddenly and with little warning. Sometimes it's not much, but sometimes the result is catastrophic. A deluge of water pours out, leveling everything in its path. Juneau experienced a Jökulhlaup in 2016, where the lake level rose 11 feet in 12 hours. This build and burst cycle is a recurring theme in my book. The story is about Indigo, a young girl who emerges out of the ground through a mossy blanket into a rich, verdant forest on the side of a mountain. With no knowledge of where she is or how she got there, she hikes through the tall pines, looking for any clues to her predicament. Crossing root and stream, she walks around the mountain and eventually stumbles on old moss-covered machinery, dilapidated structures, and a large drop-off with a long view. She approaches it and sees that 1,800 feet below her lies a decrepit city, overgrown with moss and trees, nestled between mountains and on the bank of an inland ocean channel. She sees old cruise ships half sunk in the water and an old tram line suspended in rust. She recognizes this city. It's Juneau, Alaska. She was here as a child. As she hikes down to the town, she finds it deserted and dead. There are no people, and it looks like no one has touched it for many years. She comes to find that she is marooned 100 years in the future, after artificial intelligence has apparently wiped out human life. She survived because her grandmother, Allie, the architect of the artificial intelligence, managed to see the apocalypse coming and save her in a hypersleep chamber in an old gold mining shaft deep in the mountain. Indigo is saddled with all this terrible knowledge, realizing everyone she knew is now long dead, but she also has an immediate need to survive in this new environment. In addition, she has to figure out what the hell happened. This book will be a multi-volume, 1,500-page adventure saga of Indigo's journey back home to Vancouver, looking for answers, figuring out how all this happened, and what she's going to do in this new world. And this is where I need your help. I've got the plot all outlined, I've got all the characters done and designed, and I've got about 300 pages storyboarded so far. And the storyboarding is the hardest and slowest part. With your help, I should be able to get all of that done by June or July 2018. And after that comes editing. And then after that comes final pages. I'm going to be making gorgeous, full-color images to create a rich and evocative world. I want to translate the beauty of the land and the water she'll be traversing, and the emotion of every scene. My goal is to have the first volume, about 300 pages or so, done by early 2019. In that time, I will also be searching for an agent and a publisher. And the more that you help, the more I can dedicate my time to this project. And in return, I have some pretty awesome gifts for those who pledge. They include posters, postcards, links to the Patreon page, signed copies of the forthcoming book, original art by me, and for the top pledgers, I will design a character after you. See more in the description below. This project means the world to me. It means even more to me that you'd be willing to help see it get made. So if you think this book looks cool and you want to read it someday, please find a pledge that works for you. Any amount helps. And if you can't find an amount that works for you, then please just share it and send it along to somebody who you think would think it's cool. So thank you so much for your support, and I look forward to seeing what you think about the book once it's done.